Now, there is one thing that a lot of fans will agree on about the Star Wars franchise, and that is, of course, that Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy over the years has been very incompetent as a leader and president of all things Star Wars, and also is the fact that Disney and Lucasfilm really are trying their absolute best right now to really reel in the lost fans from the sequel trilogy movies. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the one major aspect of the new Star Wars universe is the fact that they, for now, are primarily focused on television before they begin to go over to movies again. Now, they're focusing on Disney Plus with a handful of Star Wars TV shows. We've got the second season of The Mandalorian coming out later this year. We've also got the Kenobi TV show, the Ahsoka Tano TV series, and so on and so forth. Now, there's so much more to come on Disney Plus, and there's also a lot more to come into theaters when it comes to these new Star Wars movies on the side as well. However, with of course, George Lucas, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni really all working together as a team and in a way to really deliver authentic Star Wars projects for the fans to enjoy, we can really see a light at the end of the tunnel here when it comes to the franchise based on what Bob Chapek, Bob Iger, everybody else involved over at Disney, the higher-ups, and what they're really trying to do with the Star Wars universe. Now, with that being said, of course, what's really exciting all has to do with creator George Lucas and Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy and this big transitionary phase that really is going to be quite something. Now, what's really intriguing about all of this is the fact that with the Skywalker saga now over, both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are fully embraced with the future of the franchise, such as the new trilogy and the new universe in general, that will be very expansive on Disney Plus and even in theaters. Now, it's explained that George Lucas, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni are hard at work on developing a better future for the franchise and to build this universe from the ground up. It's explained that as of right now, Bob Chapek is developing a plan for George Lucas to replace Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy temporarily for the beginning of 2021 to handle what is being described as the first two phases of the Star Wars universe that will span the entire decade of the 2020s. Now, it's described that Lucas will be handling a roadmap of 10 years worth of Star Wars projects and will be the one calling the shots of what will be released and when they will release throughout this year. Now, it's said that Lucas will take over Kathleen Kennedy temporarily before the permanent solution comes into play of who will be the new president of Lucasfilm and, of course, who steps in to handle things in the long term. Now, it's described that Lucas will be working closely with Marvel's Kevin Feige early next year for the film's structure, working closely, of course, with him and also with Jon Favreau and Filoni on the TV series and more for Disney Plus. Now, it's described that the plan will also involve George Lucas to have the power of who will be cast for certain roles and projects in the early years of the first phase of the Star Wars universe that will involve Lucas hiring new types of talent for Star Wars, such as a mixture of popular A-listers and even random actors and such that Lucas is doing away also with the woke culture and ending it all. So here's the thing about George Lucas is that I think the thing that a lot of hardcore fans are really going to respect here is how George Lucas is focusing away from identity politics, woke culture in general, all those agendas, and just focusing on story and whatever, the characters have to be like, they will be as is if they fit the story. Now, this is a very interesting transitionary phase next year, is that they're going to have Lucas implanted within Lucasfilm as the new president temporarily, taking over Kathleen Kennedy before the permanent solution comes into play here. We've talked about this a couple of weeks ago, is that Chapek already has 3 different candidates of who is going to become the permanent president of Lucasfilm once Kathleen Kennedy is done for good. Now, when we look at everything related to Star Wars, we do know that the TV shows on Disney Plus need to have a high success rate to really keep those TV shows pretty much in demand, right? If they start to have a lot of problems, a lot of people are not going to want those TV shows anymore. So far with The Mandalorian and the Clone Wars Season 7, they already have enough momentum to really propel Star Wars into a brighter future on television before they transition over to movies again. And like I said before in the past, this is going to be a very interesting time this year to see exactly how The Mandalorian Season 2 does in comparison to the Season 1, because Season 2 is best described as having lightsaber duels now, Ahsoka Tano is going to be in the show, all these crazy and wild things that are really going to come to light here, that are really going to make The Mandalorian as a TV show feel reinvented by Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau essentially wanted to experiment with Season 1. It's kind of like when you look at the Dark Knight trilogy by Christopher Nolan. When you look at Batman Begins, right? You see how different that actual movie felt in comparison to The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. Well, The Mandalorian Season 1 and 2 is best described to be like that, where you're going to have this big jump in tone. So, like I've said before in the past, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.